exercise number 54, we will play it one note per bow. How many measures will it be? It will be first 6 measures of this exercise. The tempo will be 3 and 4 and. The last few measures of exercise number 54, arpeggio, we'll play it one note per bow. 1 and 2 and 3 and and one more time. What I done here with the extension, once that B flat extension was over at the beginning of the second measure, I tried to move my first finger closer. I cared about this finger. I tried to give it some rest. Not to mention, by the way, that if you use vibrato, of course not in this exercise, but in say similar melody in a real piece of music, you just might want to bring the first finger closer. For instance, if you would use vibrato for F and you done with a D and B. To play with a good vibrato, you wouldn't want your first finger to be apart from the second. That would make very tense, uncomfortable vibrato. By the way, if you tried playing vibrato, if you're familiar with this technique, of course you experienced that. You usually get the best result when your fingers are close to each other. You have to find the perfect balance between keeping them in position and keeping them actually much closer, so it's just easier to feel that whichever finger you use with vibrato is just center of your wrist. It works almost as if you just have one finger and you center the weight of your wrist around that. But this exercise is not about vibrato, so it's just a little bit of side note that sometimes you have to move your fingers from extended position back to the first. Last 3 measures of the second line of exercise 54. Let's go over that with one note per bow, and then we actually add more notes. So the same tempo, 3 and 4. From one string to another, of course, make sure that you gradually adjust the position of your bow. It's very subtle. The best way, of course, if you warm up with open strings. We've done it a number of times in our previous webinar, so I'm not going to spend time doing that right now. But just in a nutshell, you you need to slightly turn the bow when you go from one string to another. C string is extreme position. You will feel the bow goes a little bit behind you. It will be positioned right between those corners of C bout, right? And then another extreme position when you play on the A string, it's opposite. You will feel the wrist is out here, and then the bow will have to be positioned in between those two corners of opposite C bout. 3 and 4 and one more time. Unless that feels very challenging, so that you will use all of your energy to take care of the notes, you can actually challenge yourself with playing it as if that's a piece of music. Right, so you can make a crescendo towards the top note. You can actually indulge yourself in showing the top note with vibrato. Right? And also, I would strongly suggest to listen how your first note responds, right? If you have a good touch, good contact between a bow and a string, if the angle is proper, then your C string will respond clearly right away. Any mistake with the bow angle might still not be that noticeable, but that will definitely affect the sound quality, right? So if I experiment and I make a obvious mistake with the bow angle, you see what I'm doing now, right? So on the C string, if I keep playing, the bow will just go that way, and what will happen on the string? It will just slide up the string, and sound will be like this. And opposite, you make a mistake of opposite kind. So then you will definitely hear and see. So difference in sound might be somewhat negligible, depends how picky you are, but also you will lose bow position. So the next note you are about to play will suffer from that. Again, if you miscalculate the angle of the bow, the first note might be okay, but the second one might end up be total disaster. For instance, you start like this, and then by the time you have to play the second note, your bow will move all the way towards the bridge, right? And then you will get it sul panticello. Most likely, if you are at the beginning of your cello journey, then you will not be able to look at the bow, but you might most likely be looking at the music. So without visual control, this kind of technique will lead you to sound disaster. And the only way to prevent it is to position the bow correctly.